What is up guys, Arolf here back again with another video, and today we'll be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Deadpool 2, Deadpool, and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. So let's get into it. Now I'm taking a look around the packaging. On the top you kind of got a vandalized box courtesy of Deadpool right there. He's silhouetted on the side. Same thing on the back with a silhouette of Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Same thing on the other side with Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And on the bottom, UPC, scan if you want it. And without further ado, let's get into it. Doing some size comparisons, here is Deadpool and Negasonic Teenage Warhead next to a couple of the Marvel Legends X-Men 20th Anniversary figures. It's funny how Deadpool and Cable are the same height, but looking at other figures like from the MCU, we got Iron Man, Iron Spider, Stan Lee, and Doctor Strange. Also a couple of comic book counterparts like the original classic Deadpool and kind of the X-Force Deadpool with Wolverine and Cable on the side. So starting off looking at Negasonic Teenage Warhead's accessories, you get a fist, an alternative hand or a gesture hand. You can see it's painted kind of cleanly, and you can see there's some sculpting details and paint details on that sculpt. So this is what it looks like on the figure. Also, she comes with some blast effects or some energy effects, which we've seen before with Scarlet Witch and other different witchy type characters. So this is what it looks like on the figure as well. Now looking at Deadpool's accessories, you get one open holding gesture hand and a fisted hand, which are textured on the inside, which is very nice, so you can get different looks out of this guy and different expressions out of Deadpool, which is very nice because the possibilities are endless with Deadpool. And you also get his katana holding hands, which are painted silver on the back. I don't know why they didn't paint the other hand silver. The gun holding hands right here are painted silver as well. They should have just painted all silver on the back of the hand, so I don't know why. But looking at the weapons here, you can see his non-Desert Eagles right there. I don't know why they included these ones, because the ones on the figure are already glued on. They should have just used those, but this is what it looks like on the figure, which they do look terrible. But looking at the gun holding hand, the articulation, it does rotate all the way around, but it has a different side-to-side movement right there as opposed to the in and out that we're used to. Okay, moving right along to his little knife here, which is made out of soft rubbery plastic. It is nicely sculpted and nicely painted cleanly. And if you want, you can store it on the bottom left shin right there. It just slides in like so. And one of his last weapons here are his infamous katanas, which are made out of a kind of stiff but bendable plastic. You can see it's a little messy down there where the handle is, but you can see there's some nice sculpting in the handles, no paint whatsoever on the handles. But you can see it looks very nice on the figure, and if you want, you can store it in the sheaths on the back, which is nice as well. And lastly, for Deadpool's accessory, you get his special unicorn, which has a big place in his heart and in the bedroom. Looking at it, It's a nice sculpt. It looks like a plush. They actually sculpted the bottom horseshoe as well. It's made out of a soft rubbery plastic, and I like how they painted the horn itself gold, which is a nice touch. So taking a closer look at Deadpool here, starting off with that head sculpt. Oh my gosh, they nailed it out of the park. Finally we get a movie Deadpool. I mean, the texturing details, the sculpt itself, it looks like a miniature Hot Toys, like for real. I'll go all over the texturing details in a bit here, but I have one complaint about the head area, the neck area. So you move this collar piece up and it reveals a gap. Looks like the neck post is attached to the body, obviously, but it doesn't serve a purpose just to like be there. It's just a gap there. It doesn't add any articulation. It doesn't rotate whatsoever. It's just there. I don't know why they went with that design. Probably they kind of rushed it, but I don't know. So if you try to rotate that thing around or pull it up, you could stretch out the plastic and possibly snap it. But looking at the rest of the suit here, you can see he has the pegless design. You can see where that hole used to be. It looks like they kind of filled it up there, but they went with a pegless design on this one, which looks very, very nice. Only for the arms, but not the knees, which is quite unfortunate, but I'll show you that in a bit. One thing to note is that the katanas, or the sheaths for the katanas, are actually glued onto the back here. They do not rotate whatsoever, so they're a stiff piece, and they do hinder the articulation quite a bit, but not that much. But looking at the rest of the texturing details, it continues throughout the hinges here. What once was a perfect Desert Eagle is now attached and just for looks. So I've seen some people remove it, which they have broken the triggers, and some people said they haven't, with acetone and nail polish remover by dissolving that glue and all that stuff, and hair dryers and all that stuff. I won't try that with this figure, but I'm still content. Looking at it, you can see the straps there on the thighs are separate pieces. Right there, you can see some nice paint job on the pouches right there. You can see his shin guards and his calf guards back here are sculpted, and they have some battle damage, which is very nice. One thing to point out there, you can see it's painted cleanly right there on the feet, and looking at the bottom, he has peg holes at the bottom of his feet. Now for Deadpool's articulation, the head is on a double ball peg, so it does rotate all the way around. It can look up that far, which is quite disappointing, so you can't get any dynamic poses, and downward that much, which is also disappointing. But he also has some tilty shifty head movement, so if you want to give him some attitude, you can, and a little forward and back movement right there with that rubbery neck, which is also disappointing. The arms do rotate all the way around. They bend outward that far, a little over 90 degrees, and with the butterfly joints, you can move them forward and back like so, and the arms move inward that much. And just to show you the extent of the butterfly joints, if you want to get his arms crossing in a specific way or in a specific pose, that's what you can get with those butterfly joints. So that's how far you can move them back as well. He also has a bicep swivel right there, double jointed elbows right there, which has some awesome range. Now the hands here are on hinges, so they do rotate all the way around. Bend up that far, down that much. Same thing with the fist, just to show you, all the way around, up that far, and down that much. Now his torso here is on a hinge, so it does bend forward like so, which is good right there, and back quite a bit, but it's hindered by the sheaths here, but you can get it to work since they are made out of a soft rubbery plastic. It also has a waist swivel, which does get hindered by the belt, so you have to move that part up, so you can rotate it all the way around. The legs can kick forward that far, about 90 degrees, so it can sit down like so. Back quite a bit, which is surprising. And he also has a upper thigh swivel. You just gotta move the holster out of the way, which rotates all the way around. Double jointed knees, which has some decent range. It's kind of a little rubbery on mine. His feet bend down that far, which is great. Up that much, which is also great. Good for some dynamic poses. He also has an ankle pivot right there, nice range, and his legs move outward that far. And doing the ankle pivot test, let's see, does he pass first try? Right there, no problem, he is good to go. Now taking a closer look at Negasonic Teenage Warhead, really good likeness to Brianna Hildebrand. Unfortunately mine has a lazy eye and the eye's kind of drifting off to the side, which is probably a mistake in digital printing tech, but that is okay. But she has some sculpted hair, which is a separate piece, a sculpted earring, which is also painted as well, a nose ring, which is painted, and an earring, which is just basically a silver dot. And in some angles it does really look like her, and sometimes it doesn't. Unfortunately mine has that little drift to the side right there with the eye. But looking at the rest of the suit, it's pretty much a basic sculpt. There's nothing really special going on. Looks like we have seen these textures before on different female figures, so nothing really new. This belt looks kind of new to me. You can see it's nicely sculpted as well and painted cleanly, surprisingly. But other than that, no textures going on in the legs. She kind of suffers from that kind of rubbery leg syndrome that Deadpool has right there, but not really much going on in the legs here. But you can see there are some wrinkling details in the boots and peg holes at the bottom of her feet. Now for Negasonic's articulation, the head is on a ball hinge, so it does rotate all the way around. It can look up that far. Wow, I'm really impressed with this articulation in the head. And they could also bend down that much, which is also great. You also get some side-to-side movement if you want that moody teen sass, and a little forward back motion like so. Now the arms here do rotate all the way around. They bend outward that far, a little over 90 degrees, and inward not that much, which is quite disappointing. No bicep swivel. She bends at the elbow just a little past 90 degrees, rotates at the elbow as well. Hands do rotate all the way around, up that far, down that much. Same thing with the fists, all the way around, up that far, down that much. Torso is on a ball joint. She can bend forward, not that far, which is disappointing. Back that much, which is good. You get some side-to-side movement and 360-degree rotation. Legs can kick forward that far, a little less than 90 degrees right there, and back not that much. She also has an upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees, which are very rubbery on mine. Also has a boot rotation, feet bend down that far and up that much, kind of stiff on mine. Also has an ankle pivot, and the legs move outward that far, and moving over to the ankle pivot test. This is kind of tough because she kind of has that Elastigirl legs. Come on. She is good to go. So yeah, that is it guys. Hope you guys like it. If you did, drop a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and hit the bell to be notified when I upload a new video. Now when it comes down to this 2-pack, I know some people will push Negasonic to the side and mostly care about Deadpool, but looking at Negasonic, I think the sculpt is there, the likeness is great. Unfortunately, the digital printing tech on mine gave her a lazy eye, and it does look misaligned, so that's quite unfortunate for me, but hopefully for you guys, you can find a good copy. But other than the sculpt, the articulation is pretty much on par with most Marvel Legend female figures. Complaints that I have about the body itself, it's very rubbery in the legs, same thing with Deadpool, so she does have a tough time standing up. Even with the feet, it's kind of ratchety and stiff, so it's very hard to find some dynamic poses for her. But with Deadpool, really great. They nailed it out of the park. The sculpt, the articulation is great. Complaints that I have are in the legs, which as I mentioned before are rubbery, and they do seem kind of just rubbery basically, and the neck area, which is quite disappointing. I don't know why they didn't go for a ball hinge joint and they went for the double ball peg joint, which is quite disappointing to see, which limits the neck articulation. And I don't know why they went with that separate neck piece as well, even though it doesn't move whatsoever, so I don't know what the purpose of that is for. So I just don't know why Hasbro is doing these new things, but hopefully in the future we can get a better version of this Deadpool, possibly the Deadpool in the MCU. So we'll wait and see. But for the Deadpool right now, this is a figure 2-pack to pick up. So if you can find it, go pick it up right now. You wouldn't be disappointed for both of them because they do have their pros and cons, but as a whole, you wouldn't be disappointed. I think you would be happy for both, but mostly for Deadpool. But yeah, that is it guys. Hope you guys like it. Arolf Mora. This is signing out. Peace.